How is the film industry part of a larger vision for economic development in your office and within the administration?
Well, the governor set out 9 sectors that she really wants to focus on, and film and television is one of them. And like I said, we want to create an industry cluster. So this isn't just about making one-off films and television. This is about having partners and really creating a sustainable ecosystem here for a long time.
And does a cluster, an industry cluster, means there are ancillary businesses?
Exactly.
So
you'll have
part of this.
Yeah, your big ones like Netflix, and then you'll also, those will sustain other more local vendors around the state.
You know, like logistics companies,
Right.
accounting firms.
Right, security firms, construction, you know, when you put the cones out for when something is filming, that's a company that does that gets paid really well, that probably, I mean, I know the one that we used a lot in Albuquerque, I would say 50% of their business is film and television.
Our education levels and graduation rates have often been barriers to growing the state's economy. How do you see the Economic Development Department working with education officials?
Well, and that's why I have these meetings with the cabinet secretaries coming up, is that we need to identify what are the companies that are hiring, how we can better train our students so that they can get hired. It's really, we have to work so hand in hand, because if we are not training the workforce, then the companies are not going to come here. Because it's not like, oh, why don't you bring your glove manufacturing company here and we'll train the workers. They want to know that those people are already trained by the time they get here.
Recently, the Public Regulation Commission ordered PNM to bill Facebook for nearly half the cost of the $85 million transmission project for its new data center. Why were you worried about the effect this would have on other economic development efforts?
There was an arrangement that was made with Facebook prior to them coming in, and so for us, when arrangements are made and then those promises aren't kept, that's a problem in order for us to recruit other companies, because they don't think that New Mexico will keep their word or that we're going to change the economic environment on them. And I really feel like, and I think the legislators are we're very focused on economic development. That's one of the main things that New Mexico needs. And it was shown by the amount of LEDA money that was actually granted this legislative session.
This is the Local Economic Development Act.
Exactly. And we received $75 million, which is the highest we've ever received. And I think it's because people realize without economic development, the state is not going to grow. And so we want to be able to promise companies that we're bringing in from outside that we are still going to take care of them and we are going to honor our commitments.
You brought up LEDA. There was a lot of controversy over using the LEDA funds in Albuquerque to help Topgolf build its entertainment facility. And the city council approved it, the mayor vetoed it, the council overrode his veto. How should LEDA funds be used most effectively to get good paying jobs?
Do you know, I wasn't involved in that deal.
No, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I just bring it up because it's illustrative of
I know.
You know, how we're going to use these funds to get well-paying jobs.
Right. I think that what we need to do, we need to reevaluate how we're granting LEDA. In the past, it's been done by the number of jobs. And I think the number of jobs, yes, that's part of a measurement, but I think it's how well paid are those jobs? Do they have benefits? What is it going to do for this area? Is it going into an area, a blighted area? Is it going into a rural area? I think that, you know, there's a lot of components, and we're going to be looking at that over the next month and really sitting down with all of our economic developers around the state and saying, how can we do this better? How can we make sure that this is a comprehensive process that's not just driven by job numbers?
In recent years, we've seen the state go after really huge players like the Tesla battery factory and Amazon, like a million other cities, with plans to offer really large incentives. So how do you balance attracting employers here using incentives in a way that benefits New Mexicans?
Well, like I said, I mean, it's really looking at that LEDA number and just how good of a fit that company is for New Mexico. We're not going to go after anybody who's we don't feel like is a great fit or a great partner for New Mexico. And also, you know, we can't compete with some of the financial numbers that other states can. And so we're being much more targeted and we're going after certain people. Yes, if somebody comes along and says, hey, we are going out to different states and we feel like New Mexico might be a great home, then we will pursue that. But we're not going to throw hundreds of millions of dollars after people because we just don't have it.
How is your office working with existing businesses in the state to help them grow and thrive, not just recruit out of state? This comes up a lot when we're going after big.
It's super, super important because I think that the bigger companies, yes, those are the big fish and they will have supporting companies around them, but it's really reaching out to the rural areas and also to the small businesses in New Mexico to see how we can help them grow. And so we do have 6 regional reps around the state that do that, and we do have programs like we were about to announce a smaller rural LEDA program, and this is only 4 to 5 jobs, and it's in value-added agriculture.
So that's making products out of our agricultural,
right?
Value-added.
Like
let's define
taking
that.
the tomatoes and making the salsa.
Okay.
Or taking the cattle and creating a processing plant so that they don't have to drive up to Colorado to get their beef processed. It's that type of thing.
You know, our economy is shifting a lot to sort of gig workers, remote workers. Is that part of your sort of overall plan? These could be people who they can honestly kind of live anywhere.
No, I know. And that's also part of the reevaluation of LEDA. I mean, with advanced manufacturing and 3D printing and renewable energies, sometimes, like with the coal factories, we're not going to have as many jobs in a solar farm than we will at a coal plant. Or we're not going to have as many jobs at a 3D manufacturing plant. However, they're going to be better paid. So it's really a shift, not only in New Mexico, but within the United States. There's a lot of manufacturing that goes to China or to Mexico, and it's not necessarily in the United States anymore. Those $12 an hour manufacturing jobs are going other places. So it's really what do we want to promote here, and what do we want New Mexico to be about?
Are there strengths in the state that we should be tapping into?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, okay, let's just start with the labs. No one has been able to successfully figure out technology transfer out of the labs. There have been a few companies that have had great success, like Descartes Labs, but we need to figure out how to make that happen. But that is a huge resource. We have so many intelligent scientists here, engineers, that we need to utilize. We have a spaceport.
What is happening with the spaceport?
The spaceport, let me tell you, I think the future of New Mexico.
A lot of skepticism around that.
Right, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think the future of New Mexico is space. And we have this incredible asset, and it has been sitting there for years, but for no longer, because there has been a real shift in space. So it's similar to the film industry, where you used to have these, you have the old studios like the Paramounts and the Warner Brothers of the world, and you have the companies like Boeing and Northrop Grumman, but then you have these new disruptors coming in, and they're like the Virgin Orbits of the world and other companies that are doing small satellite launch, and they're either just going into suborbital or lower Earth orbit. And I think that, working with Dan Hicks, who is the director of the spaceport, we've really been able to identify what specifically those companies are and how we can service them at the spaceport. And so it's an industry that I think is going to explode here in New Mexico.
And do we have a date yet for Virgin?
We don't have a date. We don't have a date yet, but they're excited about coming, and we're excited about having them. So that's going to be pretty extraordinary also.
Great. Well, Alicia Keys, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.